But here we are. Lots to talk about. Your Chicago Bulls are going up in flames, it seems. But that's probably where we'll start. But today we'll talk about a few things. We'll talk about the Chicago Bulls and the report that came out from The Athletic. We'll talk about Damian Lillard becoming the all-time leading scorer for the Portland Trailblazers. We'll talk about Shai Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder. A little bit of Joel Embiid and Philadelphia 76ers, some Timberwolves news, and then wrap it all up with whatever's going on in the trade rumor mill as we approach the 2 month, 2 months away from the deadline, basically.
Hell yeah. Let's go, baby. I'm ready for, what sucks is football is really getting fun right now. Basketball is still extremely boring right now. So I think
Don't say that. Don't say that.
It's not that it's boring. It's just
you sound like my old roommate. You sound like
there's too many games in basketball.
You sound like my roommate.
Spade a spade. 82.
That's the point of it, okay?
Why am I trying to watch 82 basketball?
You have 82 to 120 games. It's a fucking marathon.
I agree with you because I love that baseball has 162. And
I fucking hate that. That's too many
games. Well, fuck you.
Baseball said 82. That's too little. 160 or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's 162.
And you don't even play every team. You don't even play every team.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't. Yeah. They're just about to start doing that in the first 110 years.
It's very weird. I'm glad they're figuring that out.
And you're telling me baseball's got it right. You play 160 games and you don't play every single team.
You bring up fair points. I just don't cover baseball, so I can't you know what I'm saying? It's hard to even process kind of how that works because I'm just an enjoyer. I'm just a casual enjoyer with baseball.
I don't really like baseball. My girlfriend's dad's a very prominent high school coach. He's probably going to go up to the college level. He has multiple guys.
Prominent, jeez.
Yeah, he has, I think, 20 kids drafted already. And, he has 2 in the majors and, 15 in the minors. And the rest are in college.
Shouldn't he already be coaching college ball?
He, pushed it off because, wait until, all of them went to college.
Jeez.
So, he just applied to,
How old is he?
50, 51. He didn't start coaching.
Damn, that's super young.
He didn't start coaching until 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
51?
Yeah, 52, Jeez. 51. And now he just, this past offseason, he applied to be, I think the outfield coach for the Marlins, I think. And then he also applied to be a community college or a low D3, I think, head coach. So Jeez. It's weird though, because from what my understanding is baseball schools aren't your normal schools. It's either Southern schools or it's coastal, California, Florida, Arizona.
Those are big baseball states.
Yeah, those are all because it has to be. From what my understanding, it's all the warm weather, year-round warm weather states are the top of baseball colleges, regardless of level. It doesn't even because from what he told me, he's we're not even going to get into baseball, but whatever.
It's similar to golf. You're at a huge advantage if you can play at your own.
How in basketball and football, regardless of it being as long as you go to a Power 5, it's a good program. It's different for lacrosse, baseball, and golf. It's the random schools would be John Hopkins is the best lacrosse school. You know what I mean? And
East Coast runs lacrosse.
That's what I'm saying. It's different for every area of the sports, but this isn't a fucking lacrosse, baseball, or whatever. We're just going to talk about that.
Unless you guys want it, go check out the lacrosse show on YouTube. We're just starting off. It's brand new.
You did?
We're live every day, 4 to 5.
I thought you were being serious for a second. What do you mean? I am. Well, let's talk about. So, what's your thoughts about the Bulls?
Yeah.
Have you read the report?
Yeah, and I was so confused with the report because AK is 6'8" and Levine's 6'5". So how can they see eye to eye if it's a 3-inch height difference?
That was such a bad joke. That's just like not even
I don't.
funny.
How's that even possible? So yeah, it's shut up, Big Cat. But
was that Big Cat who tweeted that?
Yeah, he's a man of the people. I saw something today that proposed this trade, and it was like
that's not even what. No, don't even get to the trades.
You'll understand it. Trust the process. Forget about the clips for a second here. Bulls fans will get what I'm saying here. It was like Kessler Edwards and Joe Harris and no pick for Nikola Vucevic, and they were saying, blow up the Chicago Bulls. And I'm not quite there yet. I can understand, we talked about this a little yesterday. I understand why people want to blow up the Bulls, but I really genuinely, and you can fact check me on this, I genuinely believe Billy Donovan's the problem. I don't.
His job is.
But
safe.
you know what? Let me reword that. Billy Donovan is definitely part of the problem. But as we've been saying all goddamn year, Zach LaVine is not a franchise player. He's not a best player on a championship team. So, you know what? I don't want to rebuild. But if they get a good deal where you can't turn it up for Zach LaVine, because look at this man.
Will you admit Patrick Williams has underwhelmed?
This has nothing to do with Patrick Williams. This has everything to do with Billy Donovan, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, and the team effort overall. Billy Donovan is not a leader of men. He's a good spokesman for leader of men, but he's not a leader of men. DeMar DeRozan deserves so much better than this. Nikola Vucevic, the trade was a fail. I'll accept that the trade was a fail. And Zach LaVine, what it came down to, we talked about this yesterday. Would you rather have
Wendell Carter Jr. right now?
All you have to do, if I either had to pay Zach LaVine an absurd amount of money that was not worth it or worthwhile or deserving, or I had to lose him. So if I can trade Zach LaVine for half a king's ransom, I'll do it.
Doesn't he have a no trade clause, or does he not?
I doubt he has a no trade clause.
I don't think he does.
And if they're not seeing eye to eye, I will give him the benefit of the doubt because I don't know what the Bulls front office is. They've been kind of MIA for a very long time now. I don't know what's going on, but Lonzo can't single-handedly fix this team. It starts with effort. Zach LaVine is not the number one option on a championship team. So if you can get a good trade offer, then I guess take it.
So the Bulls have had multiple team meetings to try to work out their issues. And that has included one-on-one, face-to-face, sit-downs between DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, according to team and league sources who were granted anonymity because they're not authorized to speak publicly on team dynamics. DeRozan and Zach LaVine have always had a strong mutual respect for one another. Only 10 months ago, they proclaimed that they were the best duo in the NBA. They maintain a good personal relationship, but their meetings have not led to in-game results so far, with a level of on-court stylistic tension simply festering throughout the season and being magnified due to the win-loss record. And from what it seems like is that there's more from league sources and team sources close to the organization said that LaVine and the Bulls are not seeing eye to eye. Over the past few weeks, there's been a palpable feeling across various parts of the franchise over a disconnect between Zach LaVine and the organization. And this has all been happening while, as you said, LaVine's in the first year of a 5-year, $215 million maximum deal. And what comes here is this is the third season of the Billy Donovan's tenure, which obviously we've seen a possibility of him losing the locker room.
Well, he already lost it. So
now, what's the problem is it doesn't I do believe look, you got Vooch who's extension eligible till June 30th that they're just ignoring the fact that he's extension eligible for 4 years. I think it's 4 years or 3 years. It's 4 years, 118.2. And he's currently expected to enter free agency. And the problem with pivoting towards a complete rebuild is the fact that the 2023 first round pick is top 4 protected and owed to the Orlando Magic. So they basically have to tank so bad that their pick has to be 1 through 4, which obviously if they get a 1 through 4 pick in this year's draft class, they're going to get either Scoot Henderson, Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore in that, conversation right there.
Obviously.
But Goran Dragic, the team's oldest and most experienced player, you like that I hit you with a burp back, didn't sugarcoat the team's problem, falling 126 loss. Goran Dragic said, quote, "We're not playing for each other. It's as simple as that. The veteran point guard's comments followed Donovan's from an equally candid post-game interview. Donovan has publicly challenged his star trio, Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan through the media, and he's been more direct than ever Sunday. We got to get out of the mindset of worrying about scoring and how it's going offensively and realize the ball scores. And if the ball moves and past, whoever scores, said Donovan. Donovan echoed Dragic's sentiments that the Bulls are playing too individualistically, and that the results won't begin to change until the team does. Jesus fucking Christ, couldn't say individualistically. Individualistically. Jesus Christ, that word's hard. But yeah, no, from what we're seeing right here, I don't know what's going on. Like,
there's no leader. Who's my leader? Who is it? It's not Billy Donovan.
It's Lonzo Ball. It's Lonzo Ball. Caruso.
Yeah, there you go. But if Caruso is my star leader, we got some issues. What's up, Aaron? What's up, Nick's Tate? But
what's up, Swaggy? What's up,
Aaron?
Okay, but no, I agree. The problem right here. Well, DeMar's always been shown that to be a leader. I just don't think
he's more of a lead by example. You know, he's not an alpha.
Yeah, there's no.
He's
alpha.
good enough. I need LaVine. LaVine's my star player.
I don't think.
Why was LaVine handed a freaking max contract? Why does he have a max contract?
All right, it's my turn, you cunt.
It's my turn.
No, but what I do really want to say is the fact that I don't think it's fire Billy Donovan season, but I will say Billy Donovan, your rotation has been questionable. Okay, we got Drummond, who's completely quieted off, a guy who's been
getting more DMPs. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But he was averaging a double with 15 minutes a night. Bring that back, because you know what defense leads to. I mean, not defense, rebounding leads to good defense, and good defense leads to good offense. And the other thing is, you got Caruso, you got DeSumo, you got Dalen Terry, who they're not even fucking using. We're not even getting. It's not like Johnny Davis, where Johnny Davis actually looks completely like. I think everyone within the Wizards organization and Wizards fan base is fully aware that Johnny Davis might be a bust within the first 2 months of his rookie season. But Dalen Terry just is not getting opportunity.
I don't need him to get opportunity.
But he could be a small forward for you, a backup small forward. He's 6'7". He's 6'7". He's a 6'7" point guard. The reason he drafted him was because he could play point guard, shooting guard, and small forward. And he can guard all those positions.
I have more issues with offense before this huge losing streak we're on right now.
But let's get the role players more involved.
But we're a top 10 defense. So obviously losing Lonzo Ball is huge, but if Zach LaVine is my leader, be a goddamn leader. DeMar DeRozan's doing plenty. If people didn't know, 26 points per game is a lot in the National Basketball Association. Zach LaVine was handed with a cherry on top this dog shit contract that made no sense for the Chicago Bulls, but it was either that or you lose him. So he's not an alpha, as Aaron's saying right now. If the Bulls want to recoup, if they want to recover from this, it's going to start with my franchise player in Zach LaVine. And I don't think Zach LaVine is an alpha. I really just don't. So I do think the Bulls will recover from this. I don't see them being sellers. Every Bulls trade proposal I've seen is desperately doggy from non-Bulls viewers. But the issue isn't Patrick Williams. The issue isn't Kobe White. It's not Lonzo Ball. None of those cases are necessarily helping them. But
I don't think they should be sellers. But I
would trade Kobe.
Yeah, I think Kobe and Vooch should be guys that they should be looking at guys that are expiring contracts that give them.
That's the only thing with Vooch.
I would look at Vooch and Kobe and be like, hey, could I package these two guys and try to go get myself a defensive minded center? Miles Turner, I know that's so far fetched. But and it seemed like he's saying that's what I'm saying. He's a defensive minded guy. I don't know who you could get under the 17. We've heard they wanted Pirtle, but I feel like Pirtle is going to be a guy who's going to stay in San Antonio. It's just at this point, I think having a defensive guy like a Mitchell Robinson, obviously they're not going to be able to get.
Yeah, that's why we wanted Mitch so desperately in the offseason. The Knicks got him. Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying is a guy who all he needs to do is grab rebounds, drop coverage, rim protection, and then on offense, be a brick wall with your picks and run the rim and, rim run and putbacks. I don't need,
Yeah. I mean, I get that the defensive rim protection is an issue, and that's why Andre Drummond should be playing basketball for this team. I get we have two number 2 options. I understand it, but like I'm not ready to throw in the towel quite yet unless DeMar like forced to trade. I view our big issue as offense and the bench
But that's the
scoring
scary part because you're supposed to be at least a good offensive team.
That's what I'm saying. So Zach LaVine, figure it out. It's not the front office. It's not you guys seeing not eye to eye. Like that can be its own thing, but like it starts with you. You're my franchise piece. We're paying you like a franchise piece. DeMar DeRozan is doing exponentially better than you, not only on the field on the court, but like off the court as well, being our leader. This is why you are paid the money. Like you need to step up. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I don't think Vooch will leave. The Pearl is really interesting because Pearl has already expressed interest that he doesn't want to, like, he's excited to test free agency. Miles Turner is very enticing to me if we had a healthy Lonzo.
Well, the Spurs can pay him more if he tests free agency.
He's already expressed being excited about testing being a free agent. So I don't see him returning.
Let's pivot over here and talk about someone who can score, and he's been scoring all his career. So Damian Lillard this past Monday night passed Clyde Drexler to become the become the all-time leading scorer of the Portland Trailblazers. Lillard surpassed Drexler's 18,040 point mark in the third quarter of the Blazers' loss to the Thunder. Drexler played 876 games for the Blazers. Lillard broke the record in his 730th game for the team that he was drafted by in 2012. Quote, "It's a great feeling to reach the top. It's been a goal of mine. And the list has so many players. Great history of our organization. So to finally be number one is a special accomplishment that I'm proud of," said Lillard after the game. Quote, thank you, ESPN, for that. What do you think of these Portland Trailblazers that currently sit at 17-14? They're right now, at the 7th seed, but they've won more games than the Kings, but they've lost more games than the Kings, so the Kings are technically ahead of them. But they're right here, in range of the playoffs. They're in the playoff talk more than they are in the play-in talk. You would say that I'd say the Trailblazers, Kings, and Clippers are all on the same level.
What was that other team?
Kings, Clippers, Trailblazers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe for now. I think the Kings will start to fall off a little bit, and the Clippers will rise.
Because there's a few tiers right now. The top 4 teams right now in the West are the Pelicans, Suns, Nuggets, and Grizzlies. Then you got the next 3 teams are the Kings, Clippers, Blazers, and then you got the next group, which is like the Timberwolves, Jazz, Mavs, Warriors, Lakers.
Well, the Kings kind of have a similar problem as Portland, and it's just defense. I think Portland really is I think this team is better than when they made it to the Western Conference Finals. I need them to get a bench scorer.
They're one of the best teams.
And maybe a rim protector.
Do you think first off, Gary Payton not being back is also holding this team back from their true potential.
Yeah.
But do you think when Gary Payton comes back, do you think it's possible that maybe they already have that off the bench scorer in Shaedon Sharpe, and it's all about letting the reins loose on him? Because I feel like they kind of have the reins held back on Shaedon Sharpe, and they're just telling the kid, here, you're getting limited minutes. Just don't do too much. Just do the little things right and just go and take advantage of any openings you see. But I feel like if they really told Shaedon, hey, buddy, we need someone to come off the bench and just score, go out there and we want you to put up 10 shots a night in 15 minutes.
I mean, that's what he's doing in like 20-ish minutes. I do think Shaedon's a really talented player, but as far as a rookie goes, I'm not ready to put all my eggs into the Shaedon Sharpe basket as far as reliability goes. I know he's been battling injury, which is a huge factor to it, but I still need some type of not crazy score, but I still need something off of the bench a little bit more than Shaedon Sharpe. I think Portland's issues are mainly on the defensive end. And I know they've been battling health issues all year, but we're getting to that point of the season where every team's going to be battling health, and it's just kind of what team rises above it. My thing with Shaden Sharp is he's got a very bright future, and even for this season. But I mean, Dame's 32, so I kind of need to figure this out now, not next year. Like, they are set up nicely for a couple of more years, especially with the addition of Jeremy Grant and Anthony Simons. But I don't know. I'm missing something, and it might be Gary Payton. It very well might, but I do think it also is like even like a Nerlens Noel. Like I do think they're going to make a move at the deadline, and I'm very curious to see what it's going to be.
Yeah, no. So over here, I'm looking. It's crazy to think about that. Shaden Sharp's best scoring month was his first 6 games in October.
When he's healthy, yeah.
Yeah, and
he's still doing solid in his last like 5 or so.
Yeah, no, completely. He showed that he could be like a guy right now who could score 10 points, a night in 18, 20 minutes a night. But yeah, I think Portland, they're a team that I don't know. The other thing is it could be when they're fully healthy, could be a shift. We've seen Josh Hart be able to be a scorer, so maybe right now there's Naz Little's been out, and with injuries like Naz Little, who had that, what was it, femoral head impaction fracture on his right hip. So the thought is when Gary Payton comes back and Naz Little comes back, maybe you do some lineups where Naz Little is in the lineup instead of Josh Hart, and you have Josh Hart be that guy off the bench and he scores for you, or you insert Gary Payton in the starting lineup and you have Josh Hart be the scorer. Because right now, as your fifth leading scorer, Josh Hart's making 9.6 points, but we've seen him as a guy who can literally drop 17 a night, 20 a night. And do you not have faith as Josh?
Consistently? No.
He did it after the All-Star break when he was the only option.
Yeah, the only issue is you have Dame taking 20, Simon's taking 20.
That's what I'm saying.
Taking 15.
You don't think like you have Josh Hart come off the bench, and that way whenever Grant or Simons gets a breather, you put in Hart to be the second option next to Dame?
It's interesting. I think Hart's just so good on the defensive end as well. I still view Simons as more of your kind of bench leading scorer.
Are you thinking that because they haven't done what you and I said in the beginning of the season? We talked.
I think Gary Payton's the reason for it.
You think so? So the beginning of the season, in reference to what we're talking about, this was when we thought Gary Payton II was going to be healthy. Was the starting lineup was going to be Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, Jusuf Nurkic, and Josh Hart. But we thought Simons was going to be starter by name, and that they start the game, he plays like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and then they sub him out, put Gary Payton in there. And then when they go with the bench unit, Simons runs the bench unit most of the time. And then in the fourth quarter, they close games out with Simons.
Yeah, I think that's the secret sauce.
You think that's the plan? So they have Simons because they're paying him. They give him starter by name. Yeah. And then literally in the first few minutes of the game, you sub Gary Payton in. And then you have Damian Lillard, Gary Payton, Jusuf Nurkic, Jeremy Grant, and Josh Hart. And then you go and you sub in the bench with Simons as the leading guy. Yeah, that would work.
I do. One thing I really do like about Portland is their versatility, especially with their non-bigs. I like the versatility that they're going to be able, that Chauncey's going to be able to deploy. So, yeah, I think Gary is a huge X factor for him, but it would be nice to have not a Clarkson, because I don't need a Clarkson. Not an Eric Gordon, because I don't need an Eric Gordon. I haven't found that, that bench guy that is going to give me 10 that I can think of off the dome. But
thanks, Layla. But look, no, I agree. It's just finding. I think, yeah, you're right. I think Portland's one of those teams that the only guy trade I've seen floating out there is if they traded for Nerlens Noel.
I like it, yeah.
So nothing against Drew Eubanks. I love Drew Eubanks, but it's just like, would you rather have Drew Eubanks or Nerlens Noel as your backup?
Nerlens Noel. There was that play last night, the final shot by Shai, that I don't really. Eubanks got kind of stuck. He didn't really commit. That I think having a guy like Nerlens might be a little bit more beneficial, but
I also like the fact that, Drew Eubanks, he's from Oregon State. He's from Oregon. Went to
Oregon.
college. Yeah, Oregon. Oregon.
I love Oregon.
It's like people from the East Coast, I forget that. Like, I've learned that it's Illinois, but like you go to the East Coast and they're like, "Oh, you drive through Illinois?"
Oh, do they pronounce the S?
Yeah. Because like when I first went to Kansas, I was like, "Yeah, dude, drive through Illinois is weird." And one of my best friends back in Kansas is from Illinois. He's from Galva, and yeah, you don't even know. You're from
Where
Illinois.
the fuck is that?
Yeah, he's from a farm boy, town of like 500. And like they have like snowmobiles to get in the winter to get around.
Yeah, most Illinois is like that. That's what I view Oregon as. When I went to Utah, we played Oregon our first week, and I was like, "You guys ready for the game against Oregon?" And everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, literally, what are you talking about?" The Oregon Ducks, the football game. Oh, Oregon. Yeah, I see.
Oregon,
Language
yeah.
barriers are cool.
But Illinois, yeah. You come out here, they're like, Illinois? I want to go to Chicago and Illinois.
Yeah, what the? I don't know if I've ever heard that.
But let's pivot and let's talk about. Oh, am I still here? Okay, I froze for a second. Let's pivot and let's talk about Shai. What's your thoughts about the Thunder?
I think they have the same record as like the Raptors.
Your point is the team is 13 and 8.
I don't know. It's funny. I'm cautious.
They got the same record as the Lakers.
I'm cautious with my Thunder talk because of the last Thunder clip. I kind of went at them. I still don't view Shai as a long-term option for the Thunder, but we'll see.
What is the word? I want to hear like Thunder fans, because you got Josh Giddey, you got Trey Mann. Poku is a guy. Thank you, Layla.
Yeah,
I appreciate the love, Layla. But right now, we're looking at Poku, and he seems like more of a glue guy. He's definitely a role player in the NBA at the very least. You got Lou Dort, who's a good defensive guy. I got nothing against Lou Dort. I fuck with Lou Dort. I think he's doing everything right. And you got Kenrick Williams, which is their like Grant Williams, basically. You got Jeremiah Robinson Earl. You got pieces there. You got Shai. And it all just seems like they're Chet Holmgren away from being a playoff team. You don't agree?
I mean, if Shai's gonna drop 31.3 and 4.5 rebounds and 6 assists and almost 2 steals a night, I guess. We'll see with Chet. It's hard to evaluate a guy who hasn't played yet, but I like their guys like Jalen Williams, Trey Mann.
They're the 9th best scoring team in the league, but they're the 20th offense.
Yeah, I mean,
you got J-Dub, J-Will, Ousmane Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that
played. Yeah, J-Dub's played 7 games.
They attempt the third most 2-point shots in the league, and they
led by Shai, yeah.
But they're the 25th in converting those. Okay, and they only get to the free throw line. They're 19th in free throw line. So for a team that shoots so much inside, okay, they shoot almost 60 2-pointers a game on 34 threes a night. First off, second in the league on field goal attempts. Like, let's just talk about that. Okay, second. 6th in total makes, but 22nd in their field goal percentage. Old stats that just shows like this is a team, they're confident, they're shooting. This team shoots, okay? They're just not making their shots. Okay. There's very few teams that shoot as much as this team. And the other thing is they're the 8th best rebounding team. And they're 18th in passing in assists. So a lot of it looking like either ISO, not a lot of catch and shoots. So a lot of it either in transition or just – so it's just what you're looking right here at this team. It's a team that definitely moves the ball quickly. You can tell that by their pace. They're not getting to the free throw line at all, okay? And they're not converting on their shots they're taking. They're getting looks, but they're not converting on it. And the thing is they show signs of being a decent defensive team, top 10 in both steals and blocks. Okay. So for me, I think it comes down to just cleaning up. And they don't turn the ball over too much. They're like top 10 also in the amount of turnovers, only 14 a night. So, I mean, double digits turnovers is not what you want ever. But what's your thought? I think there's like signs of life in this Oklahoma City Thunder team.
There's definitely a lot of signs. I mean, they could be waiting for a disgruntled star. I still think that they're better off doing one last tank here with Chet being injured. If Chet wasn't injured, they'd probably be right there around 500. But yeah, to me, it just kind of goes around building around Shai and making sure Shai is happy. So I don't know, man. They're a lot better than I was thinking they were going to be, but there's still a huge drop off. So I think they're probably still evaluating talent. They're going to take these wins as they come, but I don't really see it lasting the whole season, which is.
I think they got their 4 starters, though. Shai, Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, and when Chet's there, they got 4 guys who will start and will give them double-digit points. And it's looking like Jay Wills. Like, they kind of have a starting lineup with – they got J-Dub. J-Dub's probably going to be your – like, if you really want to think about it, you could probably run on this team. If they want to go small, they could run Chet Holmgren, Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, J-Dub, and Shai. And they're like long, but also like a little small, but like long at the same time because Shai, Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, they're all like 6'5" and above. And same thing with J-Dub. And then you got Chet being the 7-footer. Or you can run a line where you start Kenrick or Poku and Jeremiah. Like, I think they got 8 guys right here and 9 guys in. Like, Darius Bays is probably going to leave, but with Aaron Wiggins, Trey Mann, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Kenrick Williams, Poku, J-Dub, Lou Dort, Josh Giddey, Shai, adding Chet right there. That's pretty good. And you got Isaiah Joe out there too, hitting shots for them. I like what this team has. A lot of size.
Yeah, I do. I think that, when we look at their draft compensation, it still is absurd. So I don't think, Karl-Anthony Towns is not who I'm looking at, but like a guy like Cat, maybe a guy like RJ Barrett eventually.
RJ Barrett would be great.
I'm seeing James Wiseman here. It doesn't make too much sense to me, but it's an intriguing team.
It's like if Bradley Beal, if like the Wizards wanted a full rebuild, you could send imagine Bradley Beal and Shai next to each other. They got the package.
I don't think that works at all, but
what do you mean? You got 60 points a night between those guys.
Oh yeah, so much defense. I don't.
Yeah, but that's why if you trade away like Josh Giddey, Trey Mann, and like a few one or two other young guys, package some picks and send it over there. You can send them Lou Dort, Josh Giddey, Trey Mann, and some picks. Get Bradley Beal. Maybe they send you over like Denny Avdia, and like. You're telling me you wouldn't like an idea of Bradley Beal, Shai, and Chet Holmgren?
Not at all.
That's a playing team at the very least.
Well, that's cool for them. I don't know why I would need Bradley Beal when I have Shai, who's like exponentially better already.
Well, like Shai and Bradley Beal would be your backcourt. You're telling me you wouldn't at Shai, Bradley Beal.
Why are we just canceling out Josh Giddey though?
Yeah, I would assume that that would be the guy that the Wizards would want.
Oh, tough luck.
Well, the Thunder would be the ones calling the Wizards.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. So.
I'm just putting out here things. I'm just trying to be creative. You're clearly just denying my creativity.
I don't think they're going to get creative this year.
I don't think so either. I was talking down the road.
I think they'll do like the Muscalas. I don't think Lou, but.
Well, you know what I'm saying? I was just talking this whole time, if they were next year trying to take the jump and the Wizards, if they were trying to implode.
I'd rather have Kuzma than Bradley Beal. So
Kuzma's walking. What if they do a sign and trade Kuzma and Bradley Beal?
Still gets me back to the issue. I don't know what Bradley Beal offers me.
You tell me you wouldn't like Chet Holmgren, Kyle Kuzma, Bradley Beal, and Shai as your core. You're not telling me
I
that
don't
guy.
need Bradley Beal, so no.
What's your Bradley Beal's better
I think
than
it's your
Zach LaVine?
bias with
I'm a Wizards fan, yes, but Zach, who are you telling me rather have? Zach
and
LaVine
Bradley
or
Beal still isn't the best player on a championship team.
He's
Just like
never
Zach
been on a
LaVine.
championship team.
Well, actually, he's been on a few.
How did the Thunder become a championship team? Is it drafting a guy or is it
No,
trading for a guy?
I think a draft would help. I think maybe even a trading their draft pick would help. But I think this would be the last year that they draft a high prospect guy. But if they keep winning, they're not gonna get as good of a pick to keep him, in my opinion. I think them having like 3 firsts last year is kind of the indicator that they're starting to take that turn. No disrespect to Bradley Beal, I just don't know what he offers me on the Oklahoma City Thunder.
So the Minnesota Timberwolves are winners of 3 games in a row, and I think the Timberwolves, like we said, they might be better without Karl Anthony Towns. Okay, and this is a team that through December, what have we seen, ladies and gentlemen? What we have seen right now is, first off, in these games, you got D'Angelo Russell as the leading scorer, dropping 24 a night, dishing out 5 assists. Okay, then you got Anthony Edwards. Guess what? He's averaging for the month of December 3 steals a night, 6 assists, being our lead facilitator, 7 rebounds, 24 points. Then Rudy Gobert, oh, no cat, no problem. I'm going to learn how to score. 16 points a night, 13 and a half rebounds, a block and a steal and a half a night. Then Naz Reid looking like Montrezl Harrell on steroids, 14 and a half points, 8 rebounds, a steal and a block a night. Then Jalen Noel continuing his 6 Man of the Year campaign, 13 and a half points. Jaden McDaniels, 10. Kyle Anderson, 9. And the Austin Rivers dropping 7. And Nathan Knight showing up and making an impact with 7 tonight as well. What do you think of these T-Wolves on a run, playing defense, being gritty, being undersized a little bit, and beating teams with their length and their grit and their D?
Well, I said this all off season how underrated Naz Reid was. I don't get why. It's so actually obviously clear. And we talked about this right when it happened, and even leading up to it. It's so obviously clear this is Anthony Edwards' team. I don't know. Karl Anthony Towns. I have so many. First off, the issue is with me that he's averaging like 4 or 5 less points than he has in the last several seasons. So his trade value probably isn't as high as you would want it to be, but I would trade Karl Anthony Towns immediately. I'm not necessarily sold on Rudy Gobert as a basketball player on a championship team, but I think he's exponentially better than Cat. I think Cat is extremely soft. I don't view Cat as anything more than maybe a third option. I think he's had his fun in Minnesota, and you can tell with the body language, especially on the win sheet, how much better they are without him. So I think Cat just kind of, and I actually think it might have been a blessing in disguise his injury, because it's like, all right, yeah, Rudy Gobert makes us better on the defensive end than Cat. We don't really need the scoring more than Cat, so let's trade him for a king's ransom. Because they have plenty of nice players. You know, McDaniels, the guys you were mentioning, Jalen Noel is really cool. You know, D'Lo's been having so much. He's been so much better with that Cat. Like, it's crazy. So it's Ant's team building around him.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's interesting as all hell seeing how this is all playing out. And definitely with the fact that we made the joke that what if Tim Conley this whole time was just like, I'll figure out a way for the fan base to churn on Karl Anthony Towns. We're going to trade Karl Anthony Towns. And he's like, we're going to run Karl Anthony Towns to the ground. Okay, either we're going to make him look bad or he's going to get hurt, and we're going to make sure that when he's hurt, we're going to get better. And guess what? When he got hurt, they might have gotten better. They might have started to figure out how to play better. And I'm not saying trade Karl Anthony Towns, but if someone came across and offered us a bunch of defensive players and shooters for Karl Anthony Towns, like what if the Wizards,
Kuzma,
yes,
Kenny Advida.
What I was about to say, no. What if the Wizards are like, we kind of want to put Kristaps and Karl Anthony Towns together?
Ew.
What if we
I
send
want KP?
and no,
Don't say the name Bradley Beal in the next sentence. Please don't.
Guess who Tim Conley drafted? Will Barton.
Okay. All right.
What if he's hitting them up and he's like, I'll take Will Barton off your hands. I'll take Rui. I'll take Kyle Kuzma. Okay, Will Barton, Kyle Kuzma, that's 27 million. You throw in Rui, I think that's 33. And I think you get a deal done, Karl Anthony Towns, for like, I don't know if I want Rui. Maybe send me Denny. Send me Denny. Send me
And
Denny.
Right.
Nah, the Wizards need point guards, so they're not gonna. They need Monte Morris.
The Washington Wizards need every single possible thing just to fill you in on that.
I'm a Wizards and a Timberwolves fan, so I'm trying to give my teams a fair trade. Okay, so
Kuzma's already walking, so it's tough.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Kuzma, Will Barton, and send me Denny Avdia, okay, and we'll send you Karl Anthony Towns and a pick. Well, we don't have picks, so
but I'll also take Delon Wright. So you don't even need to give me a pick. I'll take Delon Wright. So
you're giving up too many assets if you're the Wizards.
Well, the issue with the Washington Wizards is they suck. So I don't.
All right, here I'll give you Jordan McLaughlin and Karl Anthony Towns, and I'll throw in Wendell Moore. Okay,
awesome.
And you'll send me Kyle Kuzma.
What does Wendell Moore give me?
DeLon Wright, Denny Avdia, and Will Barton. Wendell Moore gives you another wing player who's young. You get yourself Jordan McLaughlin as a backup point guard, and you get yourself Karl Anthony Towns.
Why am I even saying Delon Wright? Oh.
DeLon Wright to the Timberwolves.
I mean,
that's not a bad deal.
I have some faith in Jordan McLaughlin, but I don't know if it's enough.
Is it McLaughlin or McLaughlin?
Oh, I'm not the guy to ask.
I've heard both McLaughlin, or McLaughlin.
I will always say McLaughlin.
I say McLaughlin.
It's probably McLaughlin.
McLaughlin. I've heard McLaughlin because there's also a kicker named Robert McLaughlin, I think, in like the NFL, or Chase McLaughlin.
I don't know.
But at this point, yeah, like hopefully like that the Timberwolves are figuring it out. They can bring Karl Anthony Towns in, but I think Karl Anthony Towns definitely is a dark horse candidate to be traded at the deadline. But the Timberwolves are starting to figure it out because they're playing defense. They've got, this two-headed monster in D'Lo and Anthony Edwards, and maybe that's the real thing. D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, and Rudy. That's the because think about they have so much more spacing now. That's the big thing. This is all working out because the floor is spaced because there's one big.
I don't know.
And then when Naz Reid comes in,
I don't know who thought Cat and Rudy Gobert was this.
Do you move Karl Anthony Towns to sixth man? So because the reason why Naz Reid is working because Naz Reid comes in when Rudy Gobert comes off the floor, and then Naz Reid can space the floor and do everything that Karl Anthony can do on a fraction of the dollar. So my thing is what if that's the problem? They can't play together.
That was the solution to this Timberwolves dilemma before they got injured that nobody else was a fan of was you have to bench Rudy Gobert with Karl Anthony Towns, and I'm leading more towards Karl Anthony Towns. So if you're going to bench Karl Anthony Towns, you might as well trade him. Yeah,
I mean, because the thought is if because you can't bench Rudy because he's there because they're so good with him defensively on the floor. But then you're like, why would you want Karl Anthony Towns to be a sixth man? Because he's a scorer. So then you just tell him, here, come off the bench when Rudy needs a breather, and you just tell him to shoot threes and do his thing.
So Cat's this thing that sucks, and it's called a bitch. And
I used to have a Karl Anthony Towns jersey. I used to.
I burned it.
No, I actually sold it for $30, or I exchanged it for an eighth of weed.
That was a smart call.
Either way, it led to an eighth of weed.
He's like a Christian Wood on crack. I just don't know what else he offers me outside of crying. And
that's why I said, Anthony Edwards. When we got Anthony Edwards was the true savior of the franchise. But the fact that D'Angelo Russell's playing so much better without Anthony Towns there, it's because there's space on the floor.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying every second of this win streak that the Timberwolves are having. It's because there's space on the floor. And I hate to say it, if this is giving the execs a reason to trade Karl Anthony Towns, then do it. Do it. But I like what we're doing. We're actually starting to look like the team we thought we could be once we traded for Rudy Gobert. And it's because of this guy right here, D'Angelo Russell, fucking looking like the guy that was on the Brooklyn Nets.
He's a stud, yeah.
And
he's a stone cold stud. And he's also a golfer, so he's even more of a stud.
So let's go over here. Supposedly, I don't talk enough about this former KU alumni. and I'm still on the fire Doc Rivers train, but Joel Embiid and the Sixers. James Harden's clearly like old. Like the second best player on this team is Tyrese Maxey. That's no question. You can't tell me that's not true. James Harden just can't create space like he used to. James Harden, I love James Harden, but this Sixers team is starting to pick up steam, and I think they are a dark horse contender. And they've got the pieces. I love DeAnthony Milton. I like Shake Milton. Starting line of PJ Tucker is kind of weird. I don't know. Like, he's good defensively, but offensively, you just kind of sign PJ Tucker in hopes that, you're getting another good defensive guy, but he's going to replace Matisse Thybulle in terms of, like, your defensive guy.
Please trade Matisse Thybulle.
But Matisse Thybulle and PJ Tucker are the same thing now. Just two really good defenders who give you nothing.
One of them can do this thing called score points.
But PJ Tucker, how many 0-point games have you added this season?
I don't even care. PJ Tucker is exponentially more valuable than Matisse Shitbull.
So for me, I'm liking what they're doing here in terms of like they have a bench, they have the pieces. What's holding me over the edge is this team really falls off when Joel Embiid gets off the floor. Which you'd think having James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, that wouldn't happen. Granted, Paul Reed, as much as I love him, he's more of a forward who can be a small ball five than a true backup center. So, like Drummond was like he didn't work out, but like the thought is like just having a second unit or a unit without Embiid to continue to take over games is, I think, what's just holding this team back. And like they have the pieces with Maxey, Harden, the Milton Bros, and Shake and DeAnthony. George Niang's out there.
Say his name.
Tobias Harris.
There you
go. I haven't brought up Tobias Harris here. I love Tobias Harris. I think Tobias Harris is having a career year defensively.
And also offensively. Can I tell you his last 5 games?
Go for it.
Oh, okay. 20 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.5 steals, and the best part, 58% from the field and 55% from downtown and 100% from the free throw line. So,
but did Tobias Harris move the needle?
50, 100?
Does Tobias Harris move the needle for you?
I don't need Tobias Harris to move the needle for me. That's why I have an MVP candidate in Joel Embiid, a Hall of Famer in James Harden, and a rising young cat named Tyrese Maxey. And Tyrese Maxey and James Harden have played like half the year for him. So,
do you think this team would benefit from moving one of their starters to the bench? Like, obviously, Tobias' contract doesn't allow you.
Tyrese Maxey is actually perfectly suited for the bench.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think if you move DeAnthony Milton into the starting lineup or Shake, and you run, one of the Miltons with James Harden, and because this team does lack a true backup point guard. They don't even have a true backup point guard on this roster.
Yeah, I guess Milton kind of combined for one.
Yeah, but like no one that's actually like a Cameron Payne or like a George Hill.
Ugh.
Even though George Hill's over the hill. But was George Hill ever a Sixer? He was, wasn't he?
I believe so. I think
2 years ago.
James Harden's doing more than enough. I mean, Harden just recently got back. Maxey's played half the year, just like Harden. My issue with the Sixers is more so that James Harden's on my team, and I know he's going to collapse in the playoffs, but maybe his new style of basketball he won't, but I don't know why that would happen. So I think they're like perfectly fine right now as it is. Tobias is playing phenomenal. You bring up some good points. I think DeAnthony Melton was a huge addition for him too. So I mean, we'll see. They're sitting at 17-12, and they've won what was that 5 straight?
Yeah,
5 straight. So
5 straight.
I mean, they lost 3 straight before.
I'm not saying that they're broken.
Sure.
I was just saying, do you think it'd be beneficial if they moved like Tyrese to the bench?
I do. I think Tyrese Maxey is a perfect bench player, and people take that so personally that
I don't
every
think
team
it.
needs a bench player. So
Yeah, and
he
it's
can still close games.
exactly. He's still closing games.
Yeah,
I just think if you start DeAnthony, because I think DeAnthony is like a great starter, and he's shown in the games that he started that
so good on defense.
Yeah, and he's a really good complementary player to
Get you rebounds, he'll get you assists, he'll get you steals,
especially for being undersized. So that brings up my thought that like Tyrese is still closing games. Tyrese will still probably play 30 minutes tonight, but do you think it'd be better if Tyrese leads that bench mob? And
I've been on that train for a minute now. That's why I think Jordan Poole is bench player. I think Kevin Porter Jr. is bench player, and people get so like personally attacked.
I think it comes out of the salaries. People are like, you don't pay someone $30 million to be a bench guy. And I'm just like, bro, like contracts are going up to a point. Like, contract like with the new media deal, like the salary might not even matter what you're making anymore. It's just what role you fit best to help a championship team win.
Exactly, man. That's why Jordan Poole was so valuable off the Warriors bench. Like, it's just something.
I mean, he's still coming off the bench. He just can't make a goddamn shot right now.
Well, he's been getting there. He started the season like that. I get what you're saying.
Now, let's also Matt Ishbia or Ishbia.
You white fuck.
I'm just
kidding.
He was on the 2004 Izzo championship team for Michigan State. His dad founded this company called United Wholesale Mortgage, and he just
trust fund boy.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, his brother owns another company, owns in a capital investment. But yeah, basically there were rich kids who they obviously increased their dad's company's worth, and they took their dad's company public. But they started out rich. They're not Elon Musk, who started with nothing but an emerald mine. You know. That's just such a stupid joke.
That's nothing.
Yeah, just nothing but a blood emerald mine. But besides that, on the trade news, there isn't much going on right now besides what we talked about yesterday. Chuma Okeke actually suffered a knee injury. Again, we talked about supposedly we can talk about this real quickly. Eric Gordon and is more likely to be traded. KJ Martin, they expect to eventually move on from him, but as of right now, they're holding on to KJ Martin. And people have been calling for Jayshawn Tate and Tari Eason, but they've been rejected calls. Any calls that they've been calling for Jayshawn Tate and Tari Eason, they said they are not trading them.
If you say you're getting Tari Eason, I'm blocking you on Twitter, but then also Jayshawn Tate is open to me.
Josh Green, they are not trading him. They don't want to trade him because they believe Josh Green is the third most valuable player on the Dallas Mavericks, and he's the modern archetype for 3-and-D players. And
that's fine, but you have this guy named Luka Doncic.
Now, besides that, I think we have last thing, we'll just touch on this because this came out the other day and we didn't really talk about it. Lakers' dream scenario is to acquire one of Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, or Bradley Beal.
My dream scenario is $2 billion in the bank, 3 houses in different countries. I own several sports teams. I have a smoking hot blonde wife.
Blonde?
A couple of kids, mainly boys.
Mainly boys?
No, I don't like fake tits.
Really? Have you ever had a pair?
I got them removed.
All right, it's that time. Wait,
fuck this blonde with fake tits in the back of my SUV Bentley, and she sucked me.
Oh my God! Is this Daniel Tice?
No. Wait, did that say he's in the East?
Yeah, he's in the East. He's under the age of 30. Wears the number lower than 27. He's below 6'8". And he's a forward. I think I know who it is.
I know who it is. It's a guard, right?
I think he's a twin too.
I think he's a shooting guard. And I feel like he used to play for the Oklahoma City Thunder. the fuck his hair like
Is this Evan Fournier?
Oh, is it? I don't think so.
Who is it? Who is it?
Was that who you thought it was?
No, I know who it is.
I'll just throw out Aaron Neesmith.
That's so not Aaron Neesmith. Dude, it's already a Pace. I chose the Pacers. It's not a Pacer player. I'll give you another guess.
Are you throwing up a smoke screen that it's not Evan Fournier or?
It's not Evan Fournier, like seriously.
Okay, well, because if you guess Evan Fournier, I will have been more happier.
No, I'm guessing a twin. I'm guessing a twin.
Oh, then that's I'll go with Cody. Yes.
We're gonna take half points on that because that's what I was gonna guess. It was.
You were thinking Caleb.
No, I think Caleb has dreads right now.
Yeah.
Or braids. I knew it was either Cody or Caleb, but I was pretty sure it was Cody. The problem is I forget which one is which. Does that make sense? Like I forget if Caleb's the one on the Heat, which like now obviously, and Cody's the one on the because they both started out on the Hornets, right?
Yeah. And we beat them. We beat them in my freshman year.
What team did they play for? Nevada?
University of Nevada.
That's what I thought.
Were they like top recruits?
They were hugely successful at the University of Nevada.
No, but I want to know if they were like 4 stars or 5 stars.
Considering they went to Nevada, I'm going to go 4-star. Hey, what's up, Nick?
They originally went to NC State, though.
Yeah, and that didn't work out. They're 4 stars at best.
Yeah, 4 stars or
3 stars at worst.
They were from Charlotte, dude. They were. Oh wait, no, he's on Charlotte. They're from Virginia.
Charlotte's a superior.
They were 4 stars. They were 4 stars.
Yep.
Let's see what Caleb was. I always want to know if the Twins ranked lower.
Whoever was born first was superior.
4 star, both 4 stars. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
You're just gonna hold that up. I mean, I won a national championship, bro.
It's better than the fucking Gayhawks.
Oh yeah, how many national championships does Sister Dean got you?
I'll tell you how much.
The bitch is gonna die with no championships.
I don't like Sister Jean as a human being, so you can make fun of her as much as you want because she's a piece of shit.
Why? She's anti-Semitic.
Nick can elaborate.
Nick, why?
Whenever Nick makes his debut, I'm sure he can.
Why is Sister Jean a cunt?
That was the word choice I was going to use.
Oh, Sister Jean got to see one national championship?
Probably because she's like 278 years old.
How did COVID kill her? She lived through COVID.
It's because we had to get fucking triple vaxxed and triple jabbed and double masks.
Sister Jean was just walking around in a bubble.
Just like when she was growing up. Double wrap it. You have to double wrap it. I can't get pregnant.
The old Nick saying is 1963 change.
Why are the Edison apartments calling me, Nick? Oh, shit. Dude, this is my apartment.
All right. That's today's show, guys. I'll see you later. Have fun.
All right. I'll see you Thursday.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
Okay,
Rich and I will do tomorrow.